Jagi Chanyen Di Pe Sokang Ki Jolam Panje Sangye Chupa Sho Chodang Chopi Chonam La Jangyu Pari Dagi Japsu Chi Jagi Chanyen Di Pe Sokang Ki Jolam Panje Sangye Chupa Sho Chodang Chopi Chonam La Jangyu Pari Dagi Japsu Chi Jagi Chanyen Di Pe Sokang Ki Jolam Panje Sangye Chupa Sho Gate para sum gate body swaha gate para sum gate body swaha gate para sum gate body swaha.
Semja tamje to to lana ma cheba sanje ko ba mo chi ne ja to ba cha en de che da ja ju sa la ja no chu shi na sa la ngi la wa la xin ko xin ba de to ba de ju shu ma lo wa ko de en ka su ba de la de shu de ngi ye sa ba che.
So we begin by setting our motivation as we normally do to do whatever we possibly can to attain the purest state of enlightenment by perfecting all the trainings on the Bodhisattva path. And we do this by we have to, in order to be able to do this, we have to know what those trainings are, we have to know how to practice, and we gain this knowledge through being able to rely on a non-mistaken text. And so it is with this in mind that we are here this morning to listen to a teaching from the Graduated Path teaching, a series of teachings.
Re chue sing the chue to go down so the Garesana, also they want to go to me to go mare. And the day is and they want to do sing and the Takaja, Yonga shows and what was some Yungo Marte, Jugarisha, and to Tapchi, to make Jugarisha, and the Shevatona, Pantapchi, Toneta. That is Jekuyorwa, that in the chicken and chue to sing your what the check.
And so we must remind ourselves as to why indeed we are involved in a spiritual path, why we are trying to practice the spiritual trainings, and that it is indeed for us to be able to attain happiness on the one hand and to be able to avoid suffering on the other. But we have to understand also that it is not simply enough simply to have that aspiration or that hope, that, oh, may I have happiness, may I avoid all suffering and so on. We must be able to really identify the causes that bring about happiness on the other and the causes of suffering that must be abandoned on the other. And so this is the important thing. We need that certain knowledge that informs and is integrated into our aspirations and our practice.
Rashi Niga doing touchable troop, said the Rashi Niga doing touchable troop, said that Sanjay Koma Tobana, Medigage. That Sanjay Koma Tobalaya and the Masawa Mebache, and Lam Casamanoa, Machoa, Gorim Matuba, that is Sankuyorwa.
And so the purpose is really not just for ourselves, but to be able to fulfill, as they say, the purpose of oneself and other. And that we have discovered that in order to do that, one must attain the state of enlightenment itself. One must reach Buddhahood. And therefore, it stands to reason that with such a lofty aspiration, we need a path that is complete, that is unmistaken, and that is set out in the correct order in order to achieve that result.
Tende imbayizada tanda ngozo lamrim suete lamrim siete takanja chig tende ngozo duja le tangbo achik takanja chig salam ge tobe masim ge le tangbo achik ane ta le tangbo achik ane ta ge ane tento chikana dene ane chig lamma cho manowa korim matu bachana ta chig kaso le labo tona lang tuye yugingi ta shungchila lamrim sigi yorba lamrim sigi yorta lamrim sigi yorta.
And indeed, such a path refers to the graduated path, the Lam Rim that we have heard so much about, and that this is the path for a beginner to be able to proceed from that state of an absolute beginner all the way through the paths and grounds to achieve the state of enlightenment itself. and it is the referred to as the graduated path, because it is graduated with all of the stages, the complete set of stages necessary to achieve that goal. It is unmistaken, and it is in the right order as to how we should practice and how we should cultivate our motivation and so on.
Wata tende chene kasa dushe tige te hakuba chene. Rwa ta pena neba chima na soso neba ima shima ina menga tengi mare. Ane menga tenba ne menda sagi mare. Soso neba ima mene neba zatlaku ima chi. Ne tena tatab cha ma cheba ina ta soso mutu ne kanga chego yoba chi. Wata tende che sheba ina ane nyurtu ne tena tatab chi pechu chigiro. Wata ta ngarazo kowe dungengi negi na tige chi. 코베 동네게 쓰도 뭐서 체들이 동네 잡게 시고 요 말에 코아 때는 마타게 봐도 또 무드는 동네 용대지 걔가 나치라 소베 동네 무드는 용대지 아니 걔네야 다다 뭐서 미일류데 걔 대화때 때자 말봐 세달에 미일류데 걔와데 체체바도 가바기면 하고 요 말에 된대 예바 매되겠지 아니 지금 토스제나 와나메가 파도다 라와메바 코대지 다 라와메바도 동네로 왔다 동해와 다 된데서 라면바 코데티 아니 들 미스 맞지나 다 되네 타와지 맞지나 타면도스 레로 앞에나 나라도 배나 체들 차샤바이나 시그리에 삼사도 마시고 미스야 요 말보다 다 당나면은 내줄로 가로 당다지 인사베자 치와를 마시고 패쳐 요 말이야 치와서 다 치서나 또 뺏사사려 삼사지 요 말다 좋아 다 치와 찍수고 문도나 치와 니 소토에 요 말봐 숨소도야 말다 코아테는 마다가 봐도 깨베 타마데 치와이 다 쳐버다 아니 치와 드라마 봐 용하이 또 다데네 예부터 치와 딜레 타와지 좀 하도나 안 데서발에 치외 주가르샤다 다 치외 주가르샤스나 깨와데 지거도 다 깨베 고 주가르샤스도 아니 깨와데 레게 세바 레바 세바숨고 쇠다베 지거도 근데 쇠다베데 가지고 지거도 슬라바이나 아니 다디 된대게 쇠다베게 아니 죽다 가자데 가서데 다 가서 레사 받지기도 와 레사바데 녀모 도숨 거지기도 와 녀모 도사 다제 머리 베지기도 와다 다제 머리 바 짜와다 디 마방게 바르도 아니 레사 되게 아니 셀레스 바 쇠다 그래 아니 겨완랭게 아니 가와 나와 치와라서 용되기도 와다 된대 이모 다디 뭐지 마트바 이마 이나 다 타보도 와 이 뭐트바 이나 대마도 해치 와다 된대지 공부하셔 와다 제가 오다 코아스 근데 동해라신 세상 딜레마다 탑도 삼삼제 전 아니 디 내도 소소 나대바도 멋시네 아니 내디게 멘티 다 라브린 잔줄람 거리 받지 마시 아니 대땡게가 다 담발라 소바디게 아니 문에다 암지 켜봐이 마시에치 어디를 정도 하고 어디를
So yes, the graduated path series of teachings is that which is kind of easy, the import of which is easy to assimilate for a beginner in order to be able to reach that state of enlightenment. And that here, we have to understand, first of all, why it is that we want to engage, why is it necessary for us to engage in a spiritual path? Well, we have to just examine our own existence, really, from our own point of view, and understand that we are in cyclic existence, prone to all of the sufferings of cyclic existence, and we want to really attain liberation from that state of suffering. But here we need to understand the extent to which we are, on the one hand, a patient which is ill, which has an illness, that there is a medicine out there, that there is somebody to administer that medicine that is reliable and so on, so that we can recover from that illness. It's very, very important that we first of all realize that the reason why we are in this situation in cyclic existence is because we have this, as it were, a mental illness, a deficiency in our thinking. And this is, first of all, the most important thing to recognize at the outset, that we have a situation that we must seek help for and recover from. That is extremely important. If we don't accept that there is a problem at all, then we're very unlikely to seek a solution for that problem. Isn't that true? And so here we have to understand that, yes, we have an illness, as it were, a very harsh, difficult illness that we must find a way from which we can quickly recover. And that illness is the suffering of cyclic existence. That's when we look into it. It's an illness that we have had for a very, very long time, and it is continuous. It goes from birth to birth without any cessation. And that, that in our lifetime, we know the process. We are born, we age, we die, and then there's no certainty as to what happens next. That we may end up anywhere from there. And that's kind of a powerlessness that we have also, that we have a lack of freedom as to what happens in our existence. And that is the suffering as well. And that suffering is something that we should see as unbearable when we reach that kind of like contemplation of life to life to life, going from birth to death, and so on. And to realize that that is something which is really unbearable, and we must seek liberation from that situation. And we know that in normal circumstances in life, when we bring up the topic of death, that nobody finds that a pleasant subject of conversation, unless they're somehow, mentally deranged in some way, but that's a different issue. But most people would have a difficulty with death. And if they have a difficulty with death one time, then it must be more difficult to visualize it twice, or 3 times, or 4 times, or having this sort of continuous process of going from, birth to death and so on. So we have to look at say, why is it that we die? And that is the cause of that death is actually begins, or its inception is at the very point of birth itself in this life. And so we have this birth that it takes place on the basis of this karma, the craving and grasping that is propels us into another rebirth. And then we accumulate all of this karma that is motivated by the 3 poisonous attitudes of craving, of attachment, aversion, and ignorance. So this motivation that lays down these imprints on the mind as well, that keeps the process turning over, so that these karmas are activated into birth after birth after birth. And so here we have to realize that this process of going from all of the suffering of cyclic existence that follows on after that birth, the sickness, the aging, the old age, the sickness, and the death as well, that they all begin like this. And we must see that that the whole of cyclic existence is in the nature of suffering, and that it is imperative that I gain liberation from that state of suffering. And so this is the kind of level at which we should understand our illness, our sickness, and see how we are completely as it were, deliberated by this sort of illness of being in cyclic existence under these circumstances, and at the mercy of these causes, this suffering, because we're in that nature of suffering. And therefore, I need something, I need a medicine that will start a process of recovery from this state of suffering. I need to be able to rely on a doctor who has expertise and thorough understanding, who's able to prescribe for me the medicine that is necessary. And so this is the context in which we should engage in the spiritual path and have that sense of understanding of our own situation, and an urgency to become liberated or cured of this illness.
Dendega Jordan the Gazette thing Sava Shimata, Dendega Jordan the Gazette never even took it, and a Chela Donachewa, and a Chetilla, and a Barje Miwa. Dimena, Barje China, Barja Marazo, Samlo Sogua, and a Teti Shenja, and a Chicaso de Tanda de, and a Caso de Ombu Sheveke, and that Dundunye, and a Digi sort of the Chilla Gokone. Chila Gokone Chine, and Mazuga, that Migi Nuba shoot, Pitapo you get the and Pitapo you get the and Pejutama to Wachagata. Me, Nuba Pitapote, me Namjutra, Jumse Samotane, and where you can to ship a sweat. And where you can to Mutubate, and a Kansas Pound of Chegoto, and Chig, then take a Namju the Pejutana Pound of Chia. What are the little Nubate? That the little Nubate, and Chesig Digi sort of Gokon Dana, then they can never the Pechu Mavachan, then they can never the Balan yet. And never the nature of Gokon to and want to visit and Trolla to take it to one. Trolla dead to that the name is up, was to Topasaguto. Jumsakun. Papa the 10 Kibas my imagine. Yes, cigarette, mere cigarettes, Chabachan on to, and then Jeba the Yapoji, so the Jeba the Nubatuba Yapoji Jetuba Yimaina, and we the nature she and Lam yet a church. Some around the way you need to in some such a so easy to way you need to remember, you know, don't you put. Then he was a Jeba jet, get you put. Tajin, not the queen is member jet. Jeba jet, we need to tuba red or remoto, Jeba under. And where you need to say, where you need to get a ship at Suki. And so Digi to real Tapshima, to my pile Tapshima Chow. What did it? Repeal on the general. Then the Nalenta Shunga Todan Javayina, and Sanjay Swan by the Sanjay Sung Destin, Kelema Javach, death on a Chama Javachan. In a Sanjay Swan de Duja Mari, Duja, Charlie Deva, Duja Charlie Deva, come to me but not so here. Come to me but not so you do. And it did that to the church of Songo, and it did Chandler to Nier to Jabachito. Because Chandler to Jabba repel on the Jabba Majana, Sanjay or Son in Bay Chesana, Jabajetu Mari. That repel on the Jabajetua. That's all.
That's okay. So what's important here is for us to really use the main potential we have, and that is to use our intelligence to bring forth reasonings that will bring forth a conviction in what has been said, what we have to do, what is necessary to do, what is our actual situation now, and what are the steps that we need to take in order to overcome the illness and so on that we're speaking about. And so it's important that this requires an engagement from our own intelligence. We must pay attention to what this situation is. If we don't, then we are bound to be overcome by the obstacles that are inevitably going to be in our path. And these obstacles too, as we have to admit, are mostly mind created. They are stuff that we create ourselves, that we find ourselves in a situation. For example, if we are completely addicted to interpreting our reality through the senses, then we are, forever going to be in a situation of a self-deception, of really chasing after the objects of the senses, thinking that that's going to bring us some satisfaction. And then not only then does that deceive us into a kind of like a mistaken path, but also it completely compromises the actual potential we have as a human being to really use our reasoning properly, to overcome our difficulties and to overcome the obstacles that are in our ways. And so it's really one of the great disasters to have this potential and for it to remain hidden, for it not to be used. And so it's important that we put up the whole concept of reasoning itself as something which is really primary, which is really essential to any development we have spiritually. It's very, very important, because if we fail to do that, if we ignore that in our life, really that is nothing more than a wasted life. And so first and foremost, it's good to have doubts with regard to what our whole current situation is, and to ask questions, to completely bring up the process of analysis again and again and again, to analyze what is actually my situation with regard to vis-a-vis happiness, vis-a-vis suffering, And the more we honestly engage in the process of reasoning through analysis, the closer we get to the actuality of a situation. And that's very important, that is. The closer we get to that, and the closer we can get to making, decent conclusions with regard to that, then the closer we can get to being able to identify what it is we need to do really to achieve happiness, what it is we need to do really to avoid suffering. And it's not just enough to kind of say, oh, I'm into Buddhism, and Buddha said this and this and this. And the Buddha said many, many things. And he said many, many things according to the many different dispositions of listeners that he came across. And that is why even the Buddha's teachings are divided into that which is interpretative and definitive. And so we have to take a cue from that as well, and to be able to not just take things as they are said at face value, but to put them to analysis ourselves, to make sure that we use this analysis in order to be able to fulfill, really, to be able to make use of the best use of our best potential as human beings, and thereby get closer to understanding our life, interpreting our life according to the actuality of things. And that means we will get closer to achieving the happiness we want and avoiding the suffering we don't want.
sensory level chadigwa so dewa ye mais ongbi shebe that the chamaja ngeda ti dewa do yange ti dewa mando ene wona jumje de kare chama ting sa de chene samata ji geje mo da mo so samso jumje ye mas so dewa ye na jumje ye wa so dewa me jumje me cha ani boye ne tu singa barba mo so da boye ne so ma sha mangje de de ti parche je do ti parche je do.
And with regard to this reasoning that we're referring to, it's important that we, distinguish what is a kind of a valid reasoning from which is really not a valid reasoning. And that's the first port of call, really, that we have to move away from, oh yeah, I can see what the reason is because that's what I want it to be. Or I feel that is unreasonable because that's not what I want to be. We cannot make our judgments based on what I want and what I don't want, or what I like and what I don't like. This is not the way in which we can engage with reasoning. We have to see what the reasoning leads to. Is it leading to that which is closer to actuality or not? And that is very, very important. We have to maintain that sort of neutral stance with regard to our reasoning and take our own desires out of it. We cannot say interpret our reasoning based on what the sensory level of our desires are. This is not going to lead to valid reasoning, valid conclusions, and indeed it is really an obstacle, or creates an obstacle to getting closer to reality.
아다데 아니 간다스 때네 중단다 안 되게 가지 리버시 조단데 야고 저 제바 이나 아니 우유가 내주도 문에 셰토에치 로 앞에 차차바이나 에 니마다다데 가서다 답이나 저기 나렌자다 데발 제바제도 컨트롤 투자다 된데게 그게 차전 요 말이다 이내야 리버시 거네 제바제원데 우유가 내주도 니두고 도와 내유가 내주 니바 맞아 띵사바 니두고 도와 그러와 답 투자권은 투자가 강 세세던다 아니 투자를 네 아니 가서다 대화 매경 되게 아니 니 도움을 도와 다 리바시 제바제도 아니 저거 숙제 이미 개바 가야 매바 지금 뭐 여기 내주 니 두고 도와 데모 타바다 탐색 개바 싸데 두모도 니 두고 도와 다들 수 타요 말에 아니 통구 요 말에 때 이내에 리베 람라 줘도 어느 때도 유 조사했어 그렇지 좋아 배나 제 배나 나라도 그 배나 년송 생각돼서 배나 냐와 이다 둔둘라서 또 배나 둔둘도 통한다 냐와다 이다 생도 뭐 배제 나라도 통구 요 말 봐. 통구 요 말에 때 이내 좀 생에 제가 제도 어디 유 조사를 가서 주들에 도왔어. 주들에 요바 이나 아니 주 디다 투베 제부 어떤 동네들에 좀 조사했어. 배나 차샤와나 탐색 캠바스 단단 먼저 탐색 캠바 통보면도 이내는 주 년종 장sem이 양답에 따와 안에 되는 사주 람가라 소바 안에 되는 계절 장면 숨라 소바 오 된대지 제가 이나다 대부디 용조사로 와 삼사지 그 유단 대부 그 대화가 통하는 그 하고에서도 하고도에서도 그래서 가리 이번에 액시던트 용해게 요 말다 가리 이내 코르다 지금 대화지 맞중와 가서다 가서도 톱자 곱자 용한테 육가야 매게 깨 가야 매게 헛가 용가야 요 말이다. 당아서 마시면 액시던트 시고라고 유도 다시 그 요 말고 아니 액시던트 중간에 시고요. 그래서 거기 디 중간에서 디 용과 디 중간에서 디 용과를 쓰고 그 조다 주었다. 조다 다들 가서 리페어 남네 아니 게 많이 두고 와.
So this basis of reasoning, this is the foundation really for the coming to any decent conclusions regarding our reality. And this is the way in which we must examine our life. How did this situation arise? What are the causes leading to this situation? These are the kind of questions necessary. And this is a process that really comes from the ancient monastery of the Landa, how they really held the process of reasoning and the process of analysis to be paramount in coming to their different conclusions. And they're not with the aid of any particular technology or anything, just through the power of the reasoning of the mind, they were able to come up with many valid conclusions with regard to the nature of reality, the nature of life itself, and using the path of reasoning. So, for example, in situations where we're looking into the three lower realms, for example, there we have the hell realms, the hungry spirit, the animal realms. But with regard to the hell realms and the hungry spirit realms, we don't have a very clear sight of beings in these realms. We don't see them as part of our day-to-day reality. And so how do we establish that they are in fact real? And that this comes about through the process of reasoning itself. And from reasoning, we look into what could be the causes that lead to such a result. And when we examine these kinds of causes, we can see that if one accumulates this kind of cause, well, this kind of result is likely or highly likely to happen. And the same goes for reaching the state of omniscience, the state of enlightenment itself. How is that? How can we gain conviction that such a state is possible? Again, the reasoning looks into the causes that might lead to such a result. Going through the path, the 5 paths, 10 grounds, and so on, and all the different practices and the causes that must be accumulated, and say when you take all of those causes into consideration, then it is reasonable to assume that such a result is possible. And so we reach the realm of possibility through the process of reasoning. And we understand first and foremost that nothing happens accidentally. This is a key, that however sudden an event is, it has its foundation in causes that came previously, that have led to this event, that have led to this position and situation. And then because of this has arisen, because of that eventuates. And so here we have to understand that conviction is what arises through the path of reasoning.
我的这大概这我的这大概这给出去的，我说这个眼巴也过去你吧一呢，眼巴也过去你吧呢，说个呢，对吧？有个缺的背大不是中多个吧？但是我说眼巴也过嘛呢，那缺的把它过来基本都用我们多。是吧？本来拉扎不过钱吧呢，说落中的没有也不有个，落中的钱全部有个都不都准备也不要的，基本呢。就是给说是他爸阿姆拉扎就是的，别个带的开完，那别个就是给，那等呢，他弄的结果上到要了吧，因为别打不下要嘛的，那等呢就是给现在，那以前那个他打过，这到是这个打过嘛，这两件话过以前的到嘛这那过拉住个话，我等这什么修修我们他，我那等呢弄中个。या वो चेवा ना चमा अने जुमी तेरे स्ट्रुक थुग रे समसा था अने तेला बाबे कोता चे दादा ना लोग जो तेरे छाजे से को दि सामलो योगे ने पुको लोग जो यागा चेतु को तो हम पेचो लोग जो याबो जिगे मारे खासे या वो जिगे दादे का मुई ने जो शिबा ता छु टुगला ता रे तो अने मसे ज बरा पोरे च में ना ता बरा पोरे ता तेरे जिगे थाबा थामजे की म टुटु माता टुटु मा थाबा ता थामजे की म टुप से तो ता के च म शिव जिने ति के छि शु जिने ती के छिशु सिने ओता दुबा इना अनि पचे रेवा योरबा तिमा दा दादा ngjo जोदा सोला चना ता ने किरान जुगा बदा nga khal malo ri shegen go ni ga kuna de 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 da di thaba da dam je ta ba cha je ta sha ge me do shibu je gu je chibu te dong je re me do de zang wo do je ta ri ba di me de ge che mo de do ta di ji ba la tang bo de ko ji mine je ka so da samlo do gu jo ta ne ta ka 호와 때라 띵내 셔버 로겐체 호와 때나 마다다 탑미도 삼삼 지겐체 왔다 때내 슉셔버 좀 매바 이나 아니 거 시버 쇼구조 대사 말이야 시버 쇼구조 대사 말이야
So the most important thing is to really find conviction really in whatever we are doing, whatever path or whatever course of action we are going to take. And this we really point out that this conviction is strengthened, this is grown, this is cultivated through the path of reasoning. This is the most important thing. Now this is the most important thing, of course, when we're engaging in the spiritual path. That really that conviction is what can sustain us in our endeavors in the spiritual path, and without it, you can see the way people enter into a spiritual practice in a very casual, haphazard, and unbeneficial way. They're just very half-hearted in their approach. The same thing can be seen, for example, when a child goes to school, and here it's very important that the child as well have great conviction in the importance of learning and the importance of schooling, that they can see what the result of that, what possible result of that is. Without that, you can see that they can have a very, very half-hearted attitude towards school, towards going to school in the first place, the amount of attention they want to give while they're in school. And then when it comes to exams, we can see that they can easily fail and not progress. And so the most important thing in that regard is that child is very convinced as to the importance of their school, the importance of getting on well in school, of doing their best in school, because they can see the reasoning behind it. And the same, if that is the case for something as mundane as schooling, then for us as well, And this is, I'm saying, not just for you, but for me as well, for all of us together. We must go beyond this idea of getting into a spiritual path just for the sake of, getting a few decent imprints on the mind. But we can't really say whether, we have really laid down really decent causes to achieve the results that we are aspiring to. And so here from the very beginning, we have to really have this sense of conviction. So why am I involved in this path? What are the valid reasons behind it? Am I really convinced really about what I'm doing? Do I know what the state of cyclic existence? Am I totally convinced as to its being in the nature of suffering and why I must absolutely finish this situation? I must get out of this scenario. I must attain liberation from this cyclic existence. And I have to really have that firm conviction as to what's the validity of that aspiration.
어들 저 간자 저기 코에 디기 그대 시바이나 딜라 저기 착선 매버 용투에치 딱 맞아 야고 sab다 맞아 지단 저기 최대도 내거데 되내거데 코에 디기라 착선 용도 다지잖아 맞아 또 착선 빼게 소리 저래 삼을 야고 마다나 그 착선 용도 다다 가서 저다저 튼게 잡아되는 다 말아서 코아바 인자 사회 통해 대사 고고요래 다들 튼게 잡나 삼로 땅에 되면 들 착심시라 마요에 답지지 되다 차바이나 가서는 배주마다 쓰고 말 배주 땅 마다마 탑이요 말이야 배주 땅에 있는 착심 매버 돈에 배주 땅에 열어 봐 아니 착심 가 슉충충 돈에 배주 땅에 열어 봐 슉충충 돈에 배주 땅에 열어 와다 된대잖아 가자 류 초에 쳐도 최주베 그 류된데 아니 유정부 초에 쳐도 아니 대미유디 딱 가자 타바다 탐제 집에 도배 쳐도 와다 된대 저기 돈에 아니 저기 거에 롱제디 그 배주 다 롱제 이나야들라 즉 착바데 간충중 지에치 딱 가자 가서는 다들 냠용고 돈에 제고 있어 냠용고 돈에 소소 냠용고 돈에 착선대 죽종다다 딜라 죽정부 차바이나 딜라 때네 아니 동에 제어에 아니 코알 때도네 차바들라든 때는 내가 소고요 봐 대다 카마테고 소고도 와 착스도 마테고 소고도 와 차바데 죽종도 다 남자 매바다 자유 마테네 죽종도 다 아니 디 튕게데 배주 땅에 가라 최주베 튕게라 류대 초고 뭐저 다다 화바래 이 뭐저 다다 이게 사람과 똑같아 볼래 좀 말아 화바래 그 탑시요 말해 칼라마사나 탑시요 말해 대사메나 탑시요 말해 뭐다메나 탑시요 말해 다 이거 탑시에 최주베 튕게를 좋아하지 로아 가서 다 지난 개개소로 차고다 야고상 초진의 사람들 이네 개개 튕게를 좋아하지 스타트도 가 배주 땅 거도 어때 전에 딱 이제 지금 이거가 소소 냠는 것도 안에 이 무엇을 받잖아요. 아니 거기 밸런스 도와줘 거기도.
So while in cyclic existence, indeed, and because that's where we're at, we're in cyclic existence, and that's because of that, we of course need certain conditions to sustain ourselves, conditions in which to live, and that it's important that we're able to strike a balance between the conditions that we need and being able to use those conditions as conducive Dharma conditions. So something that's going to be able to fuel our practice. It's very, very important that we are able to make these distinctions, because if not, then we're going to be really bound by attachment to these conditions, and that we will, really think that we need such a house and such food and such clothing, etc., and become really caught up in procuring them more and more. And this, therefore, is the key focus on attachment. And if we can't eradicate attachment completely, then at least reducing attachment and reducing the hold that attachment has on us. And so it's very, very important that we therefore, yes, have to gain proper living conditions, but that we are able to identify them as the Dharma conditions, as something that is going to help my practice, is going to improve my dedication to Dharma practice. And of course, I need a certain quality of food, certain quality of residence, place to stay, in order to sustain the body. And that's over and above that, I should not have any attachment. I should really watch out for the way in which attachment is able to compromise my dedication to the Dharma. And my Dharma dedication can be, in order to seek happiness and avoid suffering, but also to attain the omniscient state of enlightenment. And to understand that in order to do that, I must reduce the level of attachment I have to these objects in cyclic existence. And this is something that we can really organize and finesse through our own experience. It's very, very important that we have control over our attachment rather than our attachment has control over us. So therefore, in general, we need to reduce the level of attachment that we give to certain items and a certain situation that we are in. And that, yes, we have no choice because we are in cyclic existence. We have to eat, we have to have a roof over our head, but we must try to transform those situations, all of what we do, what we partake of in cyclic existence, into Dharma conditions, conducive conditions to turn our minds towards the spiritual path, and to use our experience to recognize this and to be able to find a balance between what we need to live and sustain the body and what there afterwards to really reduce the attachment in order to dedicate our mind towards the spiritual path.
Yoba in the mass get a mare, Yoba in a machana, till Nujuka Yomare, Yoba de Soso Vegetan, Shell Vegetan to Riva. Da Chasuna Dunga Tabaso, Chava Yina, Chajana, Naranzula Chala, you had again chick, Shida, the Yuna Mana Kabashta came into some Chalachi, Mavacha and a Semakan Yomare. That's what she would Chasa Salaji, Mavachana, Semakan Casto, Chapas the Kangatiorba. Then a poor你有把的这说是掐子我的也会有什么这个是他的改名字改名字的掐完呢什么刚才改要嘛的但是改全部就掐说呢安这没给我觉的这个是掐把这个这个有吧掐把的这个我东南台湾说的了也不什么的呢是吧安改了呢呢他们呢说是拿的小个的他们的他跟着我跟着有什么和出去种草的怕多些的好或者中意的，或没办法查住了，没办法查住的，或尝试没办法呢，刚才改样嘛，金巴也当多的，现在盘巴也做多的，但尝试修金巴呢，金巴也当多嘛，然后我什么的，说也三六个嘛的，安得我尝试个得了的多，尝试这个也我什么当的感觉，我是尝试是拍拖有什么觉得，也我什么当的没得个有吧，没得个多，没得个是，没几把说刚刚尝试的接得个多，소소 시고 차사 지게 매바 차도 마기 받잖아. 강에 채된 거 망도 와. 다 같이 가고 된데 아니 지금 샴바시냠도 들어서나데 녀바 차된 거 망고 다 차바데 제어로. 차바데 제어로 다들 그 차바데 강에 가서 또. 그래 차바데 동에 교래. 다들 뭐좀 못 쳐봐지고 또 못 쳐봐지고 또.
So to recognize that what we are talking about here when we mentioned attachment, that attachment is suffering. Attachment is the cause of suffering. And it is really nothing other than that. And it's not a question of what I have or what I don't have. It's a question of what is your attitude towards what you have. If you have and you have no attachment to what you have no problem. If you have and you have attachment, then you have problems, and you're inviting problems, and you're inviting suffering. And so it's very, very important here that if you have something, some object, and that you say, okay, don't have any particular feeling towards that, that's fine. I don't have attachment towards that. Then you have no problem with regard to losing it or something happening it. So say if you have 2 cups, for example, and one you regard as, oh, this is a very good quality cup. We cherish this cup. I have attachment to that cup. The other one is an ordinary cup, not great quality. So the ordinary cup breaks, no problem. You don't have any attachment, therefore it doesn't bring up any sorriness or regret or any problem or suffering. However, if the good quality cup gets chipped, oh, then you're going, oh no, my good cup is chipped. Really problematic. Why? Because the quality involved in that is attachment. You have attachment involved, and from the attachment then arises the suffering, arises the problem. This is very, very clear, and it's the degree of attachment that is attached to a thing, is that to that degree the suffering will arise when it's broken or lost. And the thing is, we're going to lose everything anyway. So why be so attached to something, and why not give it away now and to benefit somebody else, or use it in order to benefit others? This is the proper way to do it. And so, we sometimes think, oh, I want this beautiful item because, it's so beautiful. It enhances me, it enhances my house or whatever. And we think of this, this attachment that we are fostering and cultivating as something beneficial. But it is not. It is really just a cause of unhappiness. And we have to recognize it. Just like a lover that we have, that we're so much attached to them, yet they go off and go with somebody else, and then we're broken-hearted. Why? Because the attachment is really biting into us and pinching us as to why we have lost something that someone we were so attached to. And therefore, we have to recognize attachment is the cause of suffering.
착수라 교연 통문도 앞에는 니마 가신 게때 인도위치려서 이제 아니 김에도 그런 부고도 아니 김에디 저가 되다 보면 세번님도 좋아샤 다뭐 뭐기 맞잖아 다 거주 마요 아니나 거주 마요는 가 라지장에서도 이제 들으려 딱 착을 와 오늘 제가 미세번님도 좋았다 교연 와 교연 통문도 와 착은해 착나 교연 통문도 와 좋아 다 된대로 와 이제 된대로 것도 딱가도 뭐 착선 되겠잖아 오늘 제가 소소샤네 세번님도 좋아이나 대교연 와 교연도나 차바끼기 말와 이네디 사과 슉 게 교연 통문도 와 다디 수용으로 하잖아 된대게 도와 이제 저 뭐야는 하시기 있어요 다 그래요 이제 다디 가서 차바끼기 와
So you can see that attachment can be a very serious situation that we're in. Again, as we recall in an interview we had some time ago with a woman with kids, and that the husband had left her, and that she was so distraught by this that she was driven to want to contemplate suicide, and that this is really the result of the strong attachment to the situation. That one, you see, yes, it is a loss that somebody has gone, left, the husband has gone. It's a fall, but one should not invest any more into it, because the more what is invested in that over and above what the reality is your own attachment, and that is what then causes this desperate sort of thinking. And so that shows the quite fatal danger of attachment as well.
어디로부터 다 가야나면 거기서 코에 디기를 차와이나 코알에 다 두고 말이야. 당어서 코알에 타고 되는 얘기지만 코에 디기를 맞춰가지고 거기도 와. 이내다 코에 튕겨지는 거죠 거기도. 이내 튕겨 배주 당시 최주배 튕겨를 배주 당에 엔들라 맞춰가지고 딱 그래서 제국도 남녀도 안에 제국도 와. 어디래?
And so, in brief, if we are attached to the happiness of cyclic existence, there will be no liberation from cyclic existence. It's very, very clear. And so here, yes, we have certain necessities in cyclic existence that are necessary for our living, to sustain life. But if we can view them and to really use them as proper conditions for cyclic existence, for liberation, for conducive conditions for our spiritual path, then they are not binding factors in cyclic existence, but they serve to get us closer to liberation from cyclic existence.
Today is a lamrim is a bad teacher about it. I was on the lamrim get Tangu as a give a chungu thing. Give a chungu the cousin. Said the Catchumazis, says Chiman deep doors and Casorata, Casorata, during a race. Then is a said Chimadilla and want to go about Hatami commerce done to Yatona Yagres. And said it Chiwanyaba Namchi Neme, and Chiwetse Sosota. 가서 치외세 아니 최마도가 최서 다 개와지 주변에 팽그레마다 팽그 말다스 아니 다다 먼저 채티스데 먼저 시고지 저거 로망보스 삼로 땅거 열다 이네 문에 전에데 개와 치마서 타르 뭐 말해 셰투고 말해 그저 다가 이제 채티를 착습도 축초다 다네 치마 되는 예지 대 코아래 이네 양탑 개발도 먼저 내당 뭐라 그래서 치마데 딱 먼저 하다 미 고마 핑계 약고 여기 저기 디제도 추좀 쏜 거다 쏜 것도 와. 다 되네. 디고로 장발에 사도 고로 장발에 사도 딱 하다 채들아 착습 시우 충도 치네. 시우 충도 치네. 다 지대 최기라 시라 삼로시라 매대가 제가 채치마 먼저 하다 미 고마다 깨치고 세스던데 고로 비다고 차원도 다 먼저 하다 미 고마 토바나 항상 요마다 단단 것을 미 고마 톱 되어 때 이내 동에 도와 시부시부지 개민도 와스 이내 예바 민도 와스 다데나 코아데나 하다나 핑그 말다스는 다 코안에 타에 다 코안에 타와 이나 아니 디기 비다고 시부지 요레스 아니 디제도 아니 하다 미 디기 다가 차디거라 먼저 디기 다 타와 톱네 항상 요마다스 란주고 돈다 야 타치요 말다스 코안에 마다오네 야고래 얘네 타치요 말에 다 진짜 말게 심지 탐제가 되어 주면은 지금 말다스 아니 디 고마 토바 얘나 다 아니 다 산제 고마 토바 얘나 다 라신니가 더 타지만 다 디기 다 빠도 매봐 줘야 돼 아니 거기 가서 타바 삼 토베 디기 다 가서 잡으러 봐 아니 디도 들어 마자고 켜봐도 탑 켜봐 싶지 있어 탑 켜봐 싶지 있어 다디 문제잖아 람 범니 당부 기부 중요한 라운드 곰 아니 세들 앞에 착선 따때는 매게다 가고 이러다 가서 슉 줬다네 아니 되네 가서 기부 땡길 람곰 거라 슉 쳐먹곰 되네 거라야 녀바녀도 아니 되네 다디 녀랑 람람마 슈바잖아 아니 가서 장주고 쌤 깨줘나 다 대바치면 람을 거는 탑켜봐 심절이셔 다 먼저 다 바라보려 검고요 말아 바라보자 하고 봤어 knowledge 좀 쓰네 다 디제는 펜 도구면도 와 지금은 저 검고고 있어 그랬잖아
So this is where the graduated path presentation, the Lamrim presentation, is so much expertise. Really, it is really a remarkable process of starting with the teachings relative to the smaller capacity being. And so here it's starting small, as it were, and that's understanding that from the outset, somebody who is endeavoring on a spiritual path will still be, greatly attached to the stuff of this life. And so here the emphasis is on really reducing, the level of importance with which we hold this life and the stuff of this life. And so the path here is presenting to say, look, this life is only one life, short life. Look at the future. Look into the future. It's much longer there. You must maybe pay more attention to what's happening, over the longer period of all your future lives, and to put things in perspective, to say that actually this stuff of this life is not that important. It's much more important to lay down the causes to guarantee a better future lives. And so here, the emphasis is on, really achieving the goal of a human rebirth in the next life, or as that of a celestial being in the desire realm. And so you're talking about things like death, really saying death is definite. Don't mistake that. The time of death is indefinite. And at the time of death, the only thing that's going to be of importance to you is your spiritual path, how much you have, habituated to the spiritual path. And so here, to understand, therefore, that, death tells us that no time to waste. I must engage now. I must try and concentrate purely on the Dharma, because future lives are not far away. And so, therefore, to reduce the level of importance on all the stuff and the attachments and so on that we have for this life, and place that importance on future lives. And a beautiful way of beginning a spiritual career by emphasizing on ethics, that is the primary cause that leads to that desired goal of human life in the future, celestial being in the desired realm. And so here, to understand that, sure, one will not be able to eradicate attachment, but by contemplating the subject matter of the path as it relates to the being of smaller capacity at the beginning of the Nam Rim, is a way of really helping to reduce attachment to this life. And that indeed opens the door to experiencing a great deal more happiness, even at that level. And so then one really starts to think about, first of all, the working towards the attainment of that goal of attaining human rebirth, or rebirth as a celestial being in the desire realm. But then one starts to consider that isn't such a great achievement. One is still stuck in cyclic existence. So this is where the knowledge that one gets, and the integration of that knowledge, is able to expand our perspective, and to see that, oh my goodness, as long as I'm reborn in cyclic existence, I'm always going to be prone to this kind of suffering. And even taking a rebirth as a human being, as a celestial being, is so uncertain. And so therefore they really start to look into things in a more expansive way, and to say that must be able to attain really liberation completely, and that in order to really experience definite happiness in the future. So this is the way it's presented, to say, look, if you get out of cyclic existence, you get beyond suffering, you stay in the bliss of liberation. And isn't that a worthy goal? And this is, again, the teachings now have moved in the graduated path, and they are related to the being of a medium level capacity. Somebody who can take all of this in and to integrate it into their lives. And so then the emphasis is here on seeing all of cyclic existence in the nature of suffering, and seeing the only possibility as liberation from that cyclic existence. So now the practitioner is now striving for that goal. But in doing so, they become not just acutely aware of suffering in relation to themselves, but the mind is now starting to understand that the suffering that I so have such distaste for, and I so want to get rid of, is the same suffering that all kind mother sentient beings are also experiencing. And now one begins to experience the thought patterns, the conceptualization of the being of greater capacity, and so develops the mind of enlightenment, wishing to attain the state of enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. And so this then is really understanding that this is the way to fulfill the purpose of not just myself, but all other sentient beings as well. And so now the goal moves beyond just simply attaining liberation from cyclic existence to the goal of attaining the state of enlightenment. And from that position, I can really fulfill the purpose of myself and all sentient beings. And again, it shows the tremendous, really expertise inherent in the graduated path. That the development of the motivation from the initial being of modest capacity through the medium level capacity to the greater capacity, gradually developing this expansive motivation, and to understand the importance of really finalizing one's motivation to attain enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. It's beautifully laid out, expertly done, right order, complete without error. And it's a sad, really, that often is the case that we have all of this information, but it remains simply as the knowledge level without our actually integrating it into our lives.
문에 전화 제 배다 먼저 대바 제보 인스고 대바 제보 얘도 다 녜라 딱한테 지가서데 코알라 녜바 주에 녜조 메나 대바 제보 코라 용해 코라 요 말에 랑게 코알라 코줄라 코당에 삼로다네 바부 요구사 미체겐제 셈제셰 코줄라 미스베 니지 컨스케도 그래 소래 제는 뭐지 랑 코당 삼 지금 동해 영화에 삼로게 매되겠지. 동해 미수바 영화 삼로게 매되겠지. semje시에 코아 동해를 만나면 서바 가서 미수에 닝지 가서 용도 그랬어. 다 되게 뭐 띵게라 랑 코아 코쪽이라 안 띵게. 아니 미수에 같이 보고 와. 다 되게 그 코아 코술을 미수에 같이 되게 중앙 되게 미수에 코아 코다 미수에 같이 때 아니 제 영화라 다 마용와이 대대지 매바이나 니지게 두고도 와 된다 랑 년중 깨보고도 와 된 년중 깨보고도 와 아니 대대 년중 깨발라야 아니 로다 가서데 치면낭시도 하다 미다 디게 대대를 맞춰가지고 그래 대대 영화래야 아니 체대 당시에도 그래 체대 당시에서 체대 디기를 맞춰가지고 그래 체대 아니 가서래다 직된 최제 로다 세대 나시에서 쪼어데 직된 취재들을 되려라가 메렐 마바는 마가 추바프나가 추바 마바는 마가 직녀보시나가 녀모 마시나미가 아니 개모게나가 동나보드나 마가 왔다 되네 질 고건 되네 그게 질라 아니 고 세대 나시에 마도나 치매 나시에도 치매 나시에 마도나 아니 코알은 여버저 년중 계도 때 년중에 마도나 닝지게 들고 와 닝지게 마도나 장주쌤 가봐 좋아 그래서 장주가 쌤데 닝제 자원 전에 깨보러 와. 그러나 닝제 깨발라 년중 보고도 와. 년중 겨울라 치매 낭시 도고도 와. 치매 낭시 도라 체대 낭시 도고도 다 소소 가발레셔 제바치다. 오호호 다 택바치 뭐 일라나 오 자스 보네. 직전에 최반 많이 받쳐야 내가 요래. 그래서 체티 개체 버스나 최말에 아니. 나 뭐 거기서 제바치 보고도 와. 나 부디시 나 택바 친구 인스 좋아 미지가 돈 나거든 뭐서 누구나 믿어 봐 그셔 맞으나 가기면 도와 가서 직대 취계를 봐 나디가 뭐 삼당고도 와 가서 취해서 근데 레다 맞아 제발 치고도 와 제발 맞으나 취 많이 받쳐야니까 도와 그래서
So to understand that, what we refer to as the Mahayana ideal, the Mahayana concept, is itself built on the stages of the path that come before it. This is why it's called the graduated path, and we must understand that, prior to being able to cultivate the attitude of the Mahayana mind of enlightenment, it must be built on really understanding that the nature of cyclic existence is in the nature of suffering, and the renunciation that arises out of that sense of definite emergence in relation to ourselves, that how suffering impacts on me. I must develop that sense of real intense distaste for all of cyclic existence, because it does not deliver and I want definite emergence from that. I renounce cyclic existence. And so one must be able to have that, and on that basis then, that we must develop the sense of compassion for all other sentient beings. But if we don't, then, if we haven't developed the prior stages of the path, then how can we really even conceptualize the notion of the Mahayana idea? We really are pretending. And as J. Rinpoche says, if when in reaching the conclusion of thinking about suffering in relation to yourselves, in relation to cyclic existence, if the hairs on your skin don't rise up out of fear, out of distaste, then how are you going to develop compassion for all others who are in the same situation? There's no way. It just doesn't work like that. And so one has to have that experiential dread of cyclic existence to understand what suffering really means when it impacts on me, that I can then empathize with the suffering that all other sentient beings are experiencing. And so compassion can grow, can be cultivated. But if it doesn't, if you really don't feel it at that visceral level, then forget about thinking, the compassion that you have for others will just be paying lip service. And so it's very, very important that we reach this state of finding cyclic existence and all it has to offer as being unbearable, and seeing through it and finding that for ourselves. Otherwise, we cannot think about compassion for others. And then in the course of that, that mindset, that concept of cyclic existence being in the nature of suffering is built upon really reducing the importance for this life, isn't it? That the main practice for the being of smaller capacity, and they wrestle with the notion of the 8 worldly concerns, of really wanting respect and not and really not wanting any disrespect, or wanting to hear beautiful things said about me, and not wanting to have any things bad said about me, etc., wanting fame and not wanting disrepute. And that this if we don't recognize the way in which these 8 worldly concerns can affect us in this life, where we go, such a person didn't show me the necessary respect. If that is a thought in your mind, you're already caught in the 8 worldly concerns. You're already thinking of this life as being so important, and what arises in this life as being so important. So you're a long way even from being able to develop the notion of finding the suffering of cyclic existence to be unbearable. Because if you're caught up like that in the 8 worldly concerns, it means you're not even at the first level of Dharma practice. And so, you're not even at the level of the being of smaller capacity. And so here, it's very, very important that we understand, first of all, to work on the attachment to this life, and to make sure that even though, we think we're engaging in spiritual practice, we call it, I'm a Buddhist, I'm a Mahayanist, I've done this and that and the other thing, but you're still attached to this life, well then you're not engaged in spiritual practice at all. And so here we have to constantly analyze to see where my motivation is, what my level is, where am I really, what is the actuality of my situation, and use analysis to maintain your honesty with regard to where you are on the spiritual path.
And trade to him, I want to trade to him, I was trying to get to what I was Jabachana. That Tabachaboina did it. And that did it, and I'll tell you to Tangamodo, or Jabachana. Tangamodo, that kind of sounds so good. Sounds so good. What the Tango and Chamber and Yama Tango. The net Tango good and Taco and or got the net to do such. Chasa Hakovache. And then got to do that. State Tango Zura, based in the Zura. What is it? That's Chasa Shiba Machina, got to that Shingmare. Chasa Shiba, Benamo the Kalas away in there. 칼라든데 소발은 가르가르 상부도 아니 근데 소부도 차사 씨바도 아니 거대 녀자 자 아니 거지 바제다 직제 줘라 또 직제 줘라 다 되게 차사진 거지로 담고 그 차사한테 하고 받지 아니 되네 그 림바시도 줘야 줘봐 왔다 되네 저는 저지다 차사 씨바제네 왔다 되네 아니 대과 쳐보이나 가르 상부도 오 자주 쌤 가르고도 닝제 거고도 닝제 가서 다 닝제서 가래 다가서 내봐도 껴보다 닝제에서 디마르바 쌤제 탐제 쌤제 수인 바이네 코에 동에 나와라 미스베 닝제 들어왔다 다들 먼저 남주 직대 용다가 닝제 쓰게 말봐 아 닝제 코쪽으로 샤사야면도 투면 닝제 디마르바 대자마 대 닝제에 대해 얘네 대자마 다들 닝제 침보 쓰게 닝제 침보 쓰게 코에 동에 나와라 미스베 닝제 코스 다 동에 유에 동에 캐바도 차바 두제가 동에 이 마시네 딜에 안에 다 나वे 라 미스 맞고 고도 와 코알 양의 양도 화되게 들 미스 맞고 고도 뭐다 되네 닝제 용알라 랑 코에 동에 나와 시고도 안 딜 미스 고도 되네 용아들라 안에 치매 낭시에 도고도 치매 낭시에서도 다 뭔들 하다 미 고마 되네 차대 고도 뒤도알 세대 낭시에 도고도 세대 안에 가서 직대 추계를 차대 도고도 어디게도 도도 다 배주 제고도 디마도나 세대 낭시에 마도 치매 낭시도 치매 낭시에 마도나 가서데 디게 도모도 년주게 마도나 니지게보다 자주 쌤게 마도나 산게 탑두면도 와 다들 뭐도 신고도 와
So yes, to again engage in the analysis. If we say, yes, I'm a Buddhist, I'm just kind of a Buddhist, I'm a Mahayanist, I'm this, that, and the other thing, but to really understand where we truly act in relation to our behavior, our motivation, what is the actuality? Not what I say I am, but what is the reality? And we get to that through really honest analysis. And that's here, to understand that if I say I'm a Mahayanist, then I must be able to fulfill the qualifications that make for a Mahayanist. What is necessary there? One has to live by a motivation wishing to attain enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings and live that motivation out. And so if you fall short, then you can't really call yourself a Mahayanist. So then you kind of have to see, where am I then? So it's important to know the whole path as is laid out in the graduated path, and then know where you're at, and know where you're honestly at. And then, if necessary, start at the start. You start where you're at, and then continue on from there. But be honest about where you're at. It's like preparing a meal, for example. Again, you have to understand, okay, this is the recipe, these are the ingredients, and you start with the prep and so on of whatever it is that you're going to cook. But you follow the recipe in order. And the same here. We follow the path in order. And we cannot, jump ahead, pretend that we're wanting when we're actually at a different level of the path. And here, from the point of view of being a Mahayanist, it's determined by having generated the mind of enlightenment. And where does that mind of enlightenment, how is that generated? What are the causes for that? One of the primary causes is that we have cultivated compassion. And this is, not just a sense of feeling a sense of pity for those who are poor and distraught and that are suffering some sort of physical ailment. That's not the compassion that is being referred to here. One is, this compassion is qualified by having taken into mind the suffering of psychic existence in its entirety, of finding that suffering unbearable, initially in relation to ourselves, and then relating that, and the flip side of that, to all other sentient beings. The very fact that they are in psychic existence is what qualifies this compassion. And of course, this is called great compassion. And that here, that compassion is again informed by a knowledge of the suffering of cyclic existence. Not just the suffering, the suffering of change, but all pervasive suffering as well. That the very notion that that beings are in a cyclic existence itself means that they qualify for this compassion, and that and this is the again something that we must again and again and again and again and again analyze to really see where we are at. And that have we dealt with the attachment to the appearances of this life? Have we dealt with the attachment to the appearances of future lives? Have we taken all that into consideration? Is that what is behind and what is powering and what is informing our compassion? This compassion, the great compassion that has as its object all sentient beings.
그래서 그래서 어디 다 같이 어디 삼로다네 다 같이 가서 닝제데 어디 다 닝제데 용할래다 가서 대용부도 가서 라니 가서 다 가서 다 닝제데 셈제 시화는 좀 있어 봐 닝제자 다 되다 아니 라니 대대 용할래 라니에게 코에 두고 미스베 닝제시 고 가서 년종스 고도 와 아다 대대 용도 라니 코에 두고 미스베 년종 용도 아니 개바 중도 아니 집에 나셔 또해 다 집에 딩게라 집에 나셔 또거든 집에 나셔도 뭔들 하다 고마게 뒤게 좀 지에 되지 도고도 와 다디 도도 아니 체대 나셔 또거든 체대 나셔도 다 체디 아니 작가서도 다 간제 가서도 다 지대 주의를 잡아대 도고도 와 도구도 하다 어디 도구다 근데 체대 나셔도 체대 아니 다 남죠 가서 give up this liviness 라이도 다가 저기 개치주의 학생들 도와서 그러면 체들려 체들 매고 쓰고 말와 다 체들라 차바디 매고 쓰고 그랬어 체디 개치머리 체디 양고 좀 맞아 와이나 체치매 된다 좀 말와 디 개치머리 제대나 체디 차바디 체디 개치머 저는 집에 된다 좀 두고면 도와 디자 체디 차바디 도 그래서 뭐여라 어디자 딱 그냥 얘네 고조네 아니 가서 기부 중을 남네 자네 기부 딩 쳐보 아니 탐제 개바스 두고도 티메나 탐제 개바스 두긴 있으나 똑같이 되기도 와당 가서다 게트 넘버 당번에 가 되기도 와 게트 넘버 당번에 가 사도 아니 게트 넘버 니발레 두고 말와 아니 숨발레 두고 말와 티말레나 시발레 두에 요 말와 어떻게 자 게트 당번에 가 사도 아니 그 취마이 바 차살다 이제 들어가서 삼삼째 고도 와
So therefore, this way of ordering our thinking, of knowing where we sit in the path, or on the path, and to understand, yes, that the compassion that's been spoken of here, the great compassion that is being spoken of here, is fully cognizant of the suffering of all the suffering in cyclic existence, and is focused on all the sentient beings in cyclic existence who are undergoing that suffering of others. And that comes in turn from our contemplation of suffering, the same suffering in relation to ourselves and how it impacts on me, myself. And that in turn arises from our examining this appearance, the attachment to the appearances of future lives, and that is built on the attachment to the appearances of this life. And that understanding all of what is debilitating about such attachment, reducing that attachment in order to open the mind, be able to proceed further along the path. And so here, it's often we're often exhorted in the teachings to say, give up this life. And of course, this is not an exhortation to take one's life, but rather to give up attachment to this life. This is what's referred to here. That attachment is what is the point. To give up on that attachment and to really understand that if one is attached, that is indicative of holding this life to be over important. It's so important most important, and that is seen as so debilitating in itself, and to be pointing that out. And that is the the prerogative and the main path of the being of smaller capacity, and then moving up to looking into the clinging to the attachment of future lives in the context of what is examined in the topics of meditation for the being of medium capacity, and then moving on to the being of greater capacity, was taking all of that into account and building on that. To develop the sense of this great compassion, focusing on the suffering of all sentient beings. And so we have to kind of understand that there is an order to this. And so it's like, we pass through gate 1 in order to get to gate 2, in order to get to gate 3 like it was. But we have to really be honest too and say, have we even approached gate 1 yet? And so if we're still attached to the stuff of this life and considering the goings-on of this life as being all important, and then we haven't even made gate 1. We haven't stepped onto the Dharma path yet.
이래야 마기바 차기도와 마기바 가리잖아 차기도 오 미지 갈래 계좌 야보시야 마소 지금 그도 아니 지금 어디에 정도도 아까까지 갔었지 ছে들라 차는 요구도 와 가서나 지금 최결에 차배 차바디라 ছে들라 차 쓰고 왔다 그도 ছে들라 차를 매라 ছে들라 차를 매 ছে들 계좌 지금 매스라 아니 마기만 먹고 정도 마기만 가리 연구도 어디 직대 최계도 어디 ছে들라 차는 연구 여러 와 얘네 ছে들 직대 최계려다 내라고 말해 강에 여러 얘네도 무슨 뭐스 받지 계좌 못 와. 어디 방고르다 디 시험도 좋고 맞아 왔죠 숙종도 다이트 내라고 말해 돼 배나 최냠래 삐다고 지금 சொல்ல 지금 최계 용한 내가 요래 미소 나 참바 약보지 제 라그래서 레와 칸이 참 되게 잡던데 기름 부대 잡던데 아니 추좀 송알래 추좀 나 추좀 약보 쓴거 요랬어 미기 라게 요랬어 근데 가서 땀라 레네 와 땀라 레네 왔다 아니 다가네 생각 지금 왔다 되게 냠래 지금 망보 지금 야 되게 고코래 내가 요래 다못 줘봤잖아 못 줘봤잖아 오 삽삽 맞잖아 지금 최제 레그다스 별로 차샤면 기시 뱅구제 기시 뱅구제게 남주 쳐봐시라 표고요 말 거라 참가나 아니 니마제 거라 제다 연구해서 거는 아니 쳐봐 짱마스 쳐봐 표배 짱마제는 샤네 아니 기시 뱅구제 거주네 제바 지고요 내 디제의 최를 친도 친문도 가르치는 쳐봐 표도 오호 제다 연구해서 표도 무슨 아니 오호 디직대 최계에서는 텔라파라 가는 떨어진 니고 되버와 제달래도 정말 요말에 들으자 가서 직대 취재 갈 테라 또 말았다. 원들이 저 가제 지금 직대 취재 같은 용해도 와. 제가 맞잖아. 그래서
And so the prevalence of this, the 8 worldly concerns thinking in the mind here is the issue. That many of us consider, say, I'm an old student, I've been into the Dharma for so long, and we can talk about having no attachment to this life. And that, but really what is being done here is just simply paying lip service to the Dharma. And that, when you witness or observe these students, they often exhibit unhappiness in their lives. And unhappiness is a sign that they are still caught up in the 8 worldly concerns. And if you're caught up in the 8 worldly concerns, you are still attached to the stuff of this life. And so we may say, on the one hand, oh yeah, I have no attachments, I'm done with that, I'm finished with that. But your very behavior is betraying the fact that you are still very much caught up in the 8 worldly concerns and therefore still attached. So one must learn to kind of really analyze and be absolutely ruthlessly honest, because the 8 worldly concerns are very, very difficult to eradicate completely. And one must seek to kind of reduce slowly, gradually, their influence over our lives. It's not easy, but we must even, to even see how they can be an influence in even what we would regard from the outside as a good practitioner, somebody who has been in meditation or in retreat for a long time, and that they are, or somebody who is abiding in what seems to be perfect ethical conduct and so on. That for those practitioners, the danger of thinking, I have been in retreat for a long time, and and maybe people will give me some sort of recognition for that, or I'll have great respect because I have been in. I'm so good for being in retreat for a long time, or my ethics are wonderful, aren't they? And people will think of me like that, think kindly of me for that. Now already they have betrayed the fact that they are caught up in the worldly activity of attachment to reputation, of seeking for recognition for whatever they are doing. And so even at that level, you can see how insidious the thinking of the 8 worldly concerns is, and one must always be absolutely vigilant with regard to this, and that otherwise, we are prone to very subtle self-deception. And there's a great example of this from the Tibetan tradition, talking about the great practitioner Ben Gungen, and that he was a very, very very strict practitioner, and that the story goes that one day he was told that his sponsor was going to pay a visit, and that and then Geshe Ben made a great show of cleaning his altar and his little cell, so that it was spick and span and looking really good, and then sitting in the right posture and so on for meditation. But he began to analyze, and he kind of going, okay, was all that cleaning and that organizing of my little place, was it Dharma or not Dharma? And looking into it, to say really what was the motivation for what I was doing. And he realized that the only reason he was doing it was because he had heard that his sponsor was coming. And so he immediately took some dust from the ground and threw it over everything that he had previously just cleaned. And so when his sponsor arrived, he found the place quite dusty and untidy. But it was clear here that Geshe Ben was recognizing how the influence of the 8 worldly concerns in what he was doing, and was able to take direct action on the basis of that. And so this is the way we have to understand that if we need to analyze all of our actions, it's simply not only that they are decent spiritual actions, beneficial actions, but also to watch that the 8 worldly concerns do not creep in to whatever we're doing.
직대 최계의 배 중부 요바 인자 어들 용어들도 맞아 직대 최계 되게 가르치고서 뭐 막기만 속어도 와 야고 삼다 얘네들 편도 요 저거도 와 얘네 들라들 막기만 요한테 제가 삼다다 미치고 구샵 레와 칸에 구샵 맞잖아 막기만 찾다 가르친 지고서 레와 요바 뒤져봐 다들 되게 소소 동네 속어도 와 개치주도 된들라 도나촌나 맞지 개치 뭐 말했어 개치주도 뇽모 마게야지 개치 뭐랬어 개치주도 랑전제 숙치모 맞지 개치 뭐랬어 what 단지 말이 받아 랑전제니데 견도 때네 디 칸투도 요한 샤바도 도나 맞지 시달래라 그러와 다들도 처매게도 도나 시우제 뇽모 구급 그네나라 최마이 맞차 뒤뒤 졸라지 셈마기 맞차 가야 좀 먼저 동대보도 개천보다 렐라보 동대보 역전 매워서는
And so again, this influence of the 8 worldly concerns, it's very subtle and very insidious and very, very smart. And that, so many of the aspects of these concerns look to be helpful to us. But in fact, they simply cause suffering. Take the one of, respect, of really wanting respect. And then one has that expectation, doesn't it, immediately. And if then respect is not forthcoming, and then we feel irritated and unhappy. I didn't get the respect that I deserved or I expected. And so it again looks helpful, looks beneficial, but actually is only there to cause us suffering. And we have to be able to see that that is important, and to place, really shift the way in which we see things as important. What is important, what is of utmost important to us, is the degree to which we avoid allowing mental afflictions to overcome our minds. And that we have to understand that, all of this is all related to what we really are desiring, the happiness, and to avoid the suffering. And we have to understand that, everything that we do, we have to make a concerted effort at bringing it about. That all of what is one in kind of spiritual sense is not happening, automatically, or very, very easily. Not like we all want. We all want. Oh yeah, we want the easy way out, the path of least resistance, the path of no trouble, and to have things automatic for ourselves. But this is not the way in which the spiritual path works.
당고도 내 당고라 고추도 강해도 왔다. 간장선의 지금 최제의 매와 세대의 세대 낭시 도서나 아니 치매 낭시의 도에 내라도 치매 낭시 도나 아니 비게严重게 내라도严重게 봐이나 인제 쳐보게 내라도 인제 쳐보게 게 봐이나 아니 자주섬 게 봐 내라 자주섬 게 봐나 산제 고마토에 내라 거야 그냥 주제 대화시도 와 인제도 와.
And so it is admittedly difficult as a beginner, no doubt about it, because we are up against the full force of the 8 worldly concerns, and that but in really being persistent and diligent in our efforts, we can reduce the influence of these 8 worldly concerns, and then overcome the attachment to the importance of this life. From that, then we build on that to reduce and eradicate the importance attached to the future lives, and thereby really generate the mind of renunciation. And as we proceed along the path, that we kind of gain more spiritual power, and then these attainments come more easily. And with renunciation of really renouncing all of what cyclic existence is offering up, then we can develop from that the mind of compassion and great compassion, and then the mind of enlightenment itself, and then the notion of attaining the state of enlightenment for the benefit of sentient beings comes more easily.
그래서 어디 당고도 유튜브에 되게 뭐 쳐봐잖아 만화와 두에데 개침버시서 다다 가라서 깔래 가져 이내 가라서 깔래 되라 세요래 가자서 깔래 매바 차줘도 와 당고도 코알인데 네 대바 이나 깔래 다 좋아셔요 말다 다 되네 지금 타리에게 뭐서 배전 제바 이나 당고도 깔래요 가서 뭐서 들로 검시 숙셔 보여잖아 이내 대 깔래 잡네 코 가자서는 깔래들 세요 가자서 타줘요 깔래 매바 차요 와 다 코에 갈래데 매우 잘 쳐내요. 다 되는 마다가 봐도. 다들 먼저 담가 만나와지 개침버려도 와. 그러나 그렇게라도 상계발에 개체 장면서 진짜 좀 맛있어도 쇼지 자로 레 이네 데레스 대바이나 타메바 모두도 거의 동에 녀 되기로 계제 장에 소미 봐 이네야 간삼선에 동에 매봐 저 그냥 발람 떠나 동에 요 말봐 그거 다 지금 가서 바샤 되게 반이 다 뒤져 도고 여러분도 이네 소소 레뉴 시험하지만 찾아도 와 산제 공부다 터요 맞다 간사서 동에 매봐 찾아도 와 찾아도 와 그거 다 사다 분이 벌써 레온데 그래서 가자다 동에 매봐 찾아도 와 다다 먼저 레뉴 시험하지서 동에 되네 레뉴 시험하지는 바 타도 그 동에 매봐 선제에다 이네 동에 매봐 찾아 선제도 같이 본 거 좀 두고 다 코에 동에 들에 녀 대봐 이나 다리에 관에 매와 다리에 관에 매와 다가스나 타요마 다 타발은 연종께 안들 배전제 아니 람람 타고도 타다면도
It's important for us to make the unmistaken choice here, and that to understand that yes, it is the beginning. At the beginning, it is tough at the beginning to make the spiritual kind of footsteps forward, but there is a limit to these efforts. There is a progress to be made, and there is a result to be had, and that here it's important that with effort we can bring effort to an end. But if we make no effort, there is no end to cyclic existence, and we're going to be stuck in cyclic existence. And we see that the difficulty for us now is due to the very powerful habituation to old ways of thinking that we are, shackled by. But we can, by making effort now, bring an end to effort, making a non-mistaken choice, and so on, and be able to proceed. But some people might think, oh my goodness, 3 countless great eons in order to attain the state of enlightenment, that's too much. But again, if we don't, that we're going to be in cyclic existence, continuing on the same cycle forever. There is no end to that at all. And that, sure, we have the issue now of struggling under the influence of karma and the mental afflictions. This is the old habituated pathways that we are so accustomed to. But we can see, even with effort now, we can make progress with regard to having more influence over that karma and those mental afflictions, and then being able to make a path to attain the path, the paths, the first ground and second ground, the third ground, and so on, and to be able to see it may have more and more potential with the more progress we make on the path, and to see an end to all these tribulations and efforts that we are so dominated by now. And then that is the choice we have to make. We make the effort in order to overcome having to make the effort and to proceed along the path, or we don't make any effort and we're stuck in cyclic existence without end. And that it's important for us to make the unmistaken choice now.
다가 이제 연종 깨사서나 동네 쇼는 천사로. 그래서 연종 깨사나 동네 망고 싸기 말아 봐. 단단 무슨 연종 말게 와 인사 안에 가살라 차 마가살라 당 안에 차당의 온게 안에 랭이 봐 망고 싸네 안에 동네 주망고 좀 되기도 와. 내가 왜 동네 차 안에 모든 동네 녀한테 로아니 제바 교도도 녀와 교도도 당대 라소바전 답에 신자 사고 싶고 제대로다 주망고 좀 년중 뿌다고 싶게 사소나 내가 중앙 때라 때는 아니 냠내 가르치는 뿌다고 싶잖아 냠내 가르쳐 봐 있는 탑에 교라 라메버 더도 차로 자주 쌤 교리께서나 가르쳐 봐 있는 탑에 교라 라메버 더 되게 좋아 24 hours 7 day 더 되게 와 아니 동에 매나 코알 때문에 강하게 요 말아 그것도 동에게 지금 열어 코알 때 강해데 아니 알레 산디아 고마 마토바 이마이네야 코알 때베려라 강해 못 와. 다다 뭐서 강해도 레뉴게 시험하지 뭐서 강해 지금 열어 봐. 제가 다른 것을 시행고에 개체 물어 봐. 어디는 좀 다가자 다다 깔래 잡아 맞잖아 타요 말이. 깔래 잡아도 고쳐 버려. 딱 깔래 잡게 되나 세 달에 잡도 가서 다들 밀려야 돼요. 밀려 시간들 타바다 탐색 잡아 코알에 타서 남주면은 타두고 말이야. 아니 미 르델 남주 자가지 가봐요래. 안 되는서 다른 고급 약수래. 다른 고급들 지금 쇼라이나 안다 뺏사버려. 대고서 맞춰봤지 개체물도.
And so that if we develop, the point of developing renunciation, this really changes the whole ballgame, really, because when we have genuine renunciation cultivated in our own minds, this greatly reduces the suffering that we have to undergo. Why? Because we don't create those causes of suffering anymore. And so this makes, it's a great step forward on the path, because thereafter it really focuses our mind on practice to see the value of it, the benefit of it, and therefore we can proceed much more quickly and much more efficiency on the path. And we see too, at the moment, we're really caught up because we are so dominated by attachment to what we like, aversion to what we don't like, and therefore we kind of almost, without thinking, fall into the mental afflictions associated with that and develop, create suffering causes on our minds. And that creates so many causes of suffering for us. But we can see that with practice, we will be able to reduce that kind of influence, and as we proceed on the path, for example, when we develop the mind of enlightenment genuinely, so we now have that absolute determination to attain enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. When you are operating under that motivation, and that you have that in your mindset 24/7, then you are creating no causes for suffering, and you are creating only beneficial causes to attain enlightenment. So even in cyclic existence at that point is okay. You're not dominated by suffering, even though you're in cyclic existence, because your mind is so so focused on creating causes for enlightenment. And so it's very clear that the real source of our problems and our suffering is the influence of the karma and mental afflictions on our mind. And so this is very important for us now to make a good start, knowing that that's the case, and making sure that we are determined to put in the effort to do that. We have a great advantage in that we have been born into this human body, and that this is a great opportunity that we must not lose. If we waste this, it would be an absolute disaster. And so we must understand how precious this human life is, and that it is not something that is going to last long, and it's not far from here to the next life. It's simply a case of exhaling and not inhaling again. That's all. One breath is the distance between where I am now and what could be a future life. And so we must understand that we don't have long in this life.
And the season Tawachik so season Giormata, winter season, summer season, take a chala carcoma tungurmata, Tomato, giant Tamja Muso, some what a tinner, Tana Mummy, Tabata Tamja to make a season. That this season the Kabla, Tata took to a chair with her, took to a chair. What did it? Sheomar, Shena Maji Chiwan Yugurwa. That Chiwa the Yoa Yanako, because of the chicken practical, to the Karchekuto. 모유근에서 또 가르쳐 국도 가르쳐나 약속을 샤 뭐다 대체해 되겠지 뭐도
So here, just knowing this is not something that should generate fear in us. And fear, it can be completely paralyzing, and that we don't want to fall into that situation. Really, all that's being pointed out, when one talks like this, one is trying to really open the door to actuality. What is the actual situation here? Yes, death is definite, there's no doubt about it. But in contemplating death, what one should be inspired to do is to say, okay, what can I do? What can I do in the time that is left to me? And that what is the best way of doing this? And that it's something that should inspire us to action rather than paralyze us with fear. And so it's very, very important, just like a business person, that if they're in business, to understand, to prepare for the summer season, prepare for the winter season, and to have everything in place so that the business turns out well. And that here, we have to understand that this is our season as a human being. This is our season for creating the causes for liberation and the omniscient state of enlightenment. And that's where the emphasis should be. And instead of fear, we should be practical about it and see what's the best approach to that. What's the best? What are the best actions that I should engage in?
Chide ani kewa ganesh le mara mi le ba ine an tanda nation ge ani je kala kazam ge ani namjo yo ge de le me ha ko yo ba kan ta nyanga ro tanda de namjo kala kaza yo re ani che kala kaza tuk tu ni wa yo ge sam ta do de za chen bor do ati ta ko ya ko jam ne ani ti tu su ta da pe chu tang tu ba che de ke chen bor ta maung ba se ge de ta rewa da ja wo de ne shibu shibu jo ma ta de yo ba de ta ba de ta ge chi she de do ge chi she de do.
So, yes, death is going to happen, of course, but whether we gain a human being with the kind of intelligence that we have now is uncertain, and there's a great danger to that, if that is going to happen or not. So we have to understand that, we have the power now, and to use the potential that we have now to look after this opportunity that we have gained, and to use our time as wisely as you possibly can is very, very important. And not to be, overwhelmed by thinking about what is going to be the case for me in the future, because that takes the attention away from right now. And therefore, we should really focus on the here and now and say what it is I can do to make the most of this precious opportunity I have right now.
What gets about the water, the Manjaja, China Namju, that Manja Lotu Kabajanja, Lopini Bajanja, and Chukalaza Yaputuyo, Ravayo, Yaputuyore, Inaya, that Yagatilla, Putata time of Europe, Putata night. Putata. What's the Donna Maja and Namju, Jan Anko, looks you so a children. The boy took Donna Tenny, and got Put. Tapo chagdo chagmudo pi tapo chagmudo na kadas chaba sogodo ko te tona te da jasu lang so ji ba ko te cha.
And I know that much of this is familiar to many of you here, the older students who are aware of this and trying your best to do that. But all I'm saying is too that whatever is good, we should seek to improve as well, and understand that improvement can always be made. And we can see this within the tradition, that people who have developed good qualities always seek to understand where exactly they're at, and to understand that they can be improved, to be able to refine whatever the good qualities and good attitudes that we have, and to make them more consistent and more constant. And it's a question of here simply reminding us of that.
Da Karina Mena sang can Kadesh Cheva Yimba ya, sang Kadesh Cheva ya, and together Ganga Chica Casolata, that the Chick Sosu Chicaso, Yamlechi, Twingle Trotwatch, Yamlechi, Twingle Trotwatch, what did the check? Jaju somebody give a corner to pay. What did you Trotwatch? What did the check?
But whatever it is that you gain from this, so please understand that whatever arises for us, whether it's good or bad, to be able to, each one of us, to be able to use those conditions, whatever they are, to really feed our practice, to enhance our practice, to generate the mind of enlightenment that has not yet been generated, and to improve and expand the extent of the mind of enlightenment that has already been generated. So I didn't get to the text today, I apologize. So again, what's important to take from here is to really look at our practice and to see what is adequate or inadequate about that, and to make the necessary adjustments. I think that's very important.
But oh, that can Yame Yabore, Karan Logroning, Karan Kangasing, Karan Hakugres, that Ninjabote the Labrata, Koslave Mango Yorba, till love the Shapan Togomarta, Madu de Children to Bachago to Chamber, Cheva Chegotos. What that the Chevaza, Comunet on a Cotapedo di Chayo, but I Ninjabol and the Kataka
And so, saying nice things isn't really of helpful. To say, oh, you're such a good practitioner, you're such a good person, you're so kind-hearted, etc., etc. All of that is by the way. It's really not the thing. It's our own analysis into is what I am doing, what I'm saying, what I'm thinking in harmony with the Dharma or not. This is the only question that we need to ask ourselves, and to constantly ask ourselves.
What is should get about
That's the most important.
Miguel Sosolo Kogata, and Soso Kogata, take your one. Miguel, so can me Yabore. Look to Nimbare, Kran, Yabu shaking as me. And I also eat the Soso Kogata, me Soso Kogata. And what and take that? It was a hack of a children.
So, yes, we have to really kind of understand that if we're kind of like susceptible to this kind of talk of saying, oh, you're such a great student, you're a really old student, you've been in the Dharma for so long, you're blah blah blah, and there's a real danger of deceiving ourselves and deceiving the other person as well. There's constant mutual self-deception that's going on, so we have to be very wary of that and see that there's no point in that sort of behavior. Saying really, is what I am saying, thinking, doing, is it in harmony, is it in line with the Dharma or not?
Because Mozula pocket knee away now, chicken sugar pocket, chicken that chicken pocket near sugar pocket nalola, tata do mundo. Tombare mundo.
So if you have two pockets, one for the Dharma and one for worldly affairs, and we're checking in the Dharma pocket and really saying, how is it? Is it empty? Is there anything there at all?
Children play that right here, do here some coin. Oh, yeah. But empty, yeah, nothing there. Sound looks something, what's called? Change. Sound, yeah. Looks empty. That didn't want to check it.
Yeah, so don't do that.
What was that? Sayore, what did it? That did Gawades, the subject of Sanja Kubanyu to it. And it is the Anticaso the Taka Sanja Tamba Ujan to near, teach it that, then they give a jumble which is all you, then they give a Kuzi Ujan near, and a Zambolina lot touching. Mautuda, Nota Cadesi when she did and set a joya, and Zamishi de Yavoya, and Marazu Takaja. Koyu Namja, she would change the Koyu de Yasuda and Koyu de Namja, so Marazu. That chocolate dog I would marry, and I was today not making a chocolate dog I would get, and a charge to spoil what they're watching. Just
recall the virtue that we have generated during this short time together, and dedicate all that virtue so that we can quickly attain the state of enlightenment, really, in order to benefit all sentient beings. And that the teachings of the Buddha will remain for a long time in this world, and that all the holy beings in the world, such as His Holiness the Dalai Lama, etc., that all their holy wishes will be fulfilled. We dedicate also that all world conflicts may be resolved through peaceful dialogue, and that we dedicate also in terms of the environment, all the degradation and destruction of the environment may be regenerated by people developing a sense of satisfaction with what they have, satisfaction with less. Very important that they understand that, and that we dedicate also for world peace, as I said, and also for appropriate rain and so on at the right time. And we do our Lam Rim prayer, page 29. From my two collections, vast the space that I have amassed from working with effort this practice for a great length of time. May I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds' wisdom I have blinded by ignorance. Even if I do not reach this state, may I be held in your loving compassion for all lives made Geshe. May I find the best and completely created paths of the teachings, and may I please all the Buddhas by my practice. Using skillful means drawn by the strong force of compassion, may I clear darkness from the minds of all beings with the point of the path as I have discerned them. May I uphold Buddha's teachings for a very long time. With my heart going out with great compassion in whatever direction the most precious teachings have not yet spread, or once spread have declined, may I reveal this treasure of happiness and aid. May the minds of those who wish for liberation be granted bounteous peace, and the Buddha's deeds be nourished for a long time, by even this graded path in enlightenment completed, due to the wondrous virtuous conduct of the Buddhas and their children. May all human and non-human beings who eliminate adversity and create conducive conditions for practicing the excellent paths never be parted in any of their lives from the purest path praised by the Buddhas. Whenever someone makes effort to act in accordance with the tenfold Mahayana virtuous practices, may they always be assisted by the mighty ones, and may oceans of prosperity spread with them. Lama Sangye Gyön Drowa Chijamayoba Neye Saragurasho Janju Sencho Ryo Shimaki
Shabla
You are of an
undescribable great treasure and compassion, not aimed at true existence,
and untrue master of flawless wisdom, as well as Vaticani, destroyer of hordes of demons without exception. Sankapa, crown jewel of the sages of the land of snows, your Sankapa, at your feet, I make requests.
Lord, thank you.